AITA for ruining both my parents' marriages, for disowning me. I am the byproduct of my parents' extramarital affair. Both of them had spouses at the time. My birth mother got pregnant and had to tell her husband as he was overseas when I was conceived, so there was no way I was his. A few months after I was born, they decided not to divorce. I was given to my grandparents on my mother's side to raise, with my birth father secretly paying child support without his wife's knowledge. Both my parents had other children. My dad's side knows nothing about me, but my siblings on my mum's side were told that I am adopted by my grandparents. Recently I decided that I wanted to know more about my dad's family, and I sent a friend's request to one of my siblings and my dad so I could get to know him. Well, he freaked out and contacted my birth mum, and they asked to speak to me over Skype. They both told me that they couldn't risk staying in contact with me and told me that they were going no contact and to please respect it and to move on with my life. Well, I did pretty much the opposite. I contacted my dad's wife and shared screenshots of our conversations and told her everything. She is now divorcing him, while on my mother's side I told both my siblings, who then went on to tell extended family including her husband's side, so now they are separated and my siblings hate my mother. Currently my siblings on both sides' lives have been upturned, and after the satisfaction has worn off I feel like I unnecessarily hurt them through my parents. AITA for ruining my parents' marriages. NTA. You didn't ruin anything, they did. Your birth parents have been and continue to be completely selfish assholes, and everyone deserved to see who they really were. The only people who upended anyone's lives are your parents. You did not deserve to be told to go away or hidden. Exactly. And if they wanted to continue their lives and work on their marriages, they should have given you up for adoption and let you live a happy life with a family that loves you, rather than sticking you in a situation where you're forced to pretend you don't exist. They're both assholes regardless for cheating to begin with, and this made them escalate to like next level for the way they handled it. NTA, your parents are fucking selfish. So many other options for them instead of just pretending like you don't exist. If you don't want your spouse to find out you cheated, how about not ducking cheating? All you wanted was a little contact with family. They rejected you. Well, they don't get to choose whether your half-sisters and brothers want to know you or not. Maybe sharing screenshots was not the right way to go, but honesty, if you keep such a huge secret from your spouse, you deserve to get found out eventually. NTA. It's really shitty that they would try to deprive you of having literally any family besides your grandparents so that they can cover up their bad behavior. I don't blame you for what you did. You're definitely going to have to deal with the fallout, but at least you can now have a relationship with your siblings. They were expecting you to actively participate in erasing your own existence from their world. They basically wanted you to not exist. Of course you got angry and wanted to hurt them. So the fact that you wanted to punish them is, well, I won't go so far as to call it a churlish. But the fact that you feel like a schmuck for deliberately kicking the keystone pebble that led to this particular landslide tells me that you are a decent person that doesn't like to see other people in pain as a direct result of events you played a minor part in engineering. But please remember that the people who set up this whole situation made it so easy for you to trigger that landslide. All you had to do was publicly exist at them. Sure, you were pissed, but literally the only thing you did was say, hey, I exist, and if all you have to do is breath and exist to blow up someone's tower of lies, then you are so NTA. You're NTA here. Your parents couldn't have expected to hide a living, breathing human being forever. This is their lie and their problem. You were born into inauspicious circumstances, but you didn't choose who your parents were. You don't deserve to live hidden away for the rest of your life. Try and be supportive of your siblings on both sides, but embrace being out in the open. Take this opportunity to learn about your relatives on a deeper level, while also respecting their boundaries when asked. Forget your parents, they were never worth knowing to begin with. But see if you can build new friendships and relationships with your siblings, who are also victims of your parents' lies. Edit. Saw in the comments that you're 17. This is a lot for anyone, much less a teenager, to go through. Talk to your grandparents about therapy in the future, and best of luck to you. I don't have a coherent answer, but I will say this: lies almost certainly eventually unfold. For 17 years they did not own up to their mistake, they literally passed it over to someone else. Well, that mistake has asked to be recognized. They thought they can just brush it off like they did, so they faced the consequences from the worst perspective. They could have tried and make it right, opening things up slowly and carefully, but I guess they got what they deserve. Props on the balls. Karma is a bitch. I'm gonna go against the grain and say Ash. Your parents for obvious reasons, and you for intentionally ruining someone's life for your own satisfaction. Did you have a reason for it? Sure. But being a vengeful asshole is still being a vengeful asshole. Note, I'm not saying that you're a bad person by any means. Most people, including myself, probably understand why you do what you did. But I do think you're a bit of a dick for intentionally doing it. Now, if it had happened accidentally, for example because your father's wife had accidentally seen the message on your dad's phone, that wouldn't have been explicitly your fault, and you would not be an asshole here. But purposely doing this is a different matter. Edit, because people somehow have trouble reading it. Here's a clarification. Malicious, vengeful equals asshole, not malicious. Accidental equals not asshole. Motivations matter, people. Unlike legal matters, intentions are important when judging whether a behavior is a sholish. E2, enjoyed the discussion, at least with the civil fellows, but I'm a tad overwhelmed with the sheer amount of replies, so gonna just go sleep. Everyone remember that it's fine to have differing opinions here, and have a nice day. Probably the most awkward age for this situation then. Your parents are TA. They had an affair and couldn't own up to it, while at the same time denying you an upbringing that wasn't built on a lie. They took a tough choice and made it only thinking what was best for them, because by the sounds of things they lack integrity. On the matter of you divulging the information to your father's wife, what were you hoping to achieve? Was it something along the lines of, if they can't deny me they'll have to accept me? Or were you hoping that it would cause them to divorce as a punishment for him essentially abandoning you? Not blaming you at all, BTW, I just can't wrap my head around this part. As for you saying you ruined your parents' marriages, you didn't, they did. But you only suck a little. Sending the screenshot of the conversation to your father's wife was a deliberate attempt to stir up trouble. You had no reason to contact her, you're not related to her. The only outcome there was that she got pissed. But mostly your parents are just massive Rs. They shouldn't have made you their secret and expected you to be complicit in that. Your mother sucks for opting not to raise you herself. Her husband sucks for thinking it was okay to stay with a woman but not be involved with raising her child, or on the condition that she get rid of her child, if that was the case. Your father sucks also for not raising you. That is a parent's job. Sending money is not enough. They could have placed you for a real adoption and given you a family with no secrets. I actually don't think it's your fault THST either of your parents' marriages blew up or their other kids are pissed with them now. That's their own fault for cheating, keeping secrets, lying and treating you like crap. I'm curious, did you know about your family situation growing up, or did you only find out when you were older? Did you know your grandparents were your grandparents, or did they tell you you were adopted?